Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be continuing into part 3 of What If Goku Was Born as a Super Saiyan. If you haven't seen part 2, there's a title card where you can go check it out and see what happened in the last part. But today, we'll be going into the Planet Earth arc. What has happened on Earth without Goku? Is Earth in ruins? Is there hope for anyone there? Also, I own a Discord server for anyone who wants to join and talk more about Dragon Ball with me and other viewers. Maybe give out some of your own ideas of what ifs, and maybe in the future, I could do them. Check the link in the description down below. Without further ado, let's dive into part 3 of What If Goku Was Born as a Super Saiyan. After Bardock became king of the Saiyans, nothing too much would happen for a few years, so we'll be switching over to Planet Earth and see how things are going on over there. Now without Goku ever crash landing to Earth, that means Grandpa Gohan would live and continue on his normal life, until one day a young girl would arrive at his doorsteps, and it would be Bulma. When she would talk about the Dragon Balls, and when she would ask for Gohan's Dragon Ball, he would have no reason to say no, and unlike Master Roshi, he would give it to her without any conditions. Most likely, he would go with her to make sure nothing bad happens to her. They would meet Master Roshi, and Gohan would be happy to see his master once again. And the trade for the Dragon Ball would be actually done really easily. The problems that Goku would go through at the start of the story would be handled rather easily, as Oolong wouldn't be any problem for Gohan. Yamcha would not try to fight a well-known martial artist and actually join with those two, as he would like to be trained under Gohan. At Fire Mountain, Gohan would be able to solve it on his own, even though he could most likely destroy the mountain as well, but also he would be disappointed in how his rival turned out to be, and the Ox King would change his ways because of Gohan. I think in this scenario, Pilaf and his gang wouldn't be able to get the Dragon Balls from this group, as even though Gohan is old, he is no doubt a more difficult opponent to face compared to a young Goku. Plus, Gohan is a lot smarter than a young Goku was. Once they would collect the final Dragon Ball, Bulma would make her wish for an infinite supply of strawberries, since she does have Yamcha, which would shock Gohan, as he had expected a much better wish. He did enjoy the adventure. Yamcha, Bulma, and Puar would actually stay by Gohan's house for a bit, mainly for the fact that Yamcha wants to train under Gohan, and Gohan wouldn't mind having a young pupil. Then we would go to the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament, and this would go quite interesting. Krillin, now being Master Roshi's only student, would train under the Master in preparations of the World Tournament, and Yamcha, the pupil of Gohan, would also be doing the same, as Yamcha wanted to test out his skills. When the tournament arrived, Gohan and Master Roshi would meet, and this is when the gang would meet Krillin for the first time. But this Krillin is a lot less friendly without the influence of Goku. And an interesting change would be that both Master Roshi and Gohan would enter the tournament under a different name. When the tournament plays out, they end up fighting each other's student, testing them out to see how they would fare. Both Yamcha and Krillin would put up their best efforts against the master martial artist, but in the end, they would both lose against the masters. Both Master Roshi and Gohan knows the true identities of each other, and the old master and student battle would begin for the final match. The fight is amazing, as both fighters show their skills and experience in combat. Overall though, in the end, Roshi would come out on top, winning the tournament. The lesson they both wanted to teach their students made them motivated to continue their training. The next few sagas dealing with the Red Ribbon Army wouldn't really happen, as there's no Goku to go find the 4-star Dragon Ball, but also that the Dragon Ball has no sentimental value in this timeline. Now this may seem bad, but truthfully it's not, as even if the Red Ribbon Army collected all the Dragon Balls, Commander Red's true wish was to increase his height, so the group managed to dodge a bullet there. We really would just skip on to the next tournament, where the group would meet once again. And during the time jump, Krillin and Yamcha have improved a lot and even grown to be rivals to each other. Roshi and Gohan would enter the tournament once again, even though these 4 fighters would go into the tournament and most likely are a bit stronger than the canon version of themselves. None of them would be able to beat Tien, and Tien never gets that character change without Goku around. Yamcha and Krillin were a bit defeated, losing in the tournament again, but their masters would be disappointed in them. Good thing here is that Krillin actually gets spared and never has to go back and get killed by Tambourine. They would all head back and stay around the Kame house, where in the news they would see that the martial artists are being killed by green monsters, and instantly both Roshi and Gohan know what is going on, as they would rush off, but their students would follow suit, not wanting them to leave their masters behind. Most likely, almost every fighter would be killed when the group would arrive, and they would try their best against Tambourine and Drum. It was a hard battle, but they did have aid from Mercenary Tao, Tien, Chaozu, and Master Shen. Even though none of them liked working together, it was the only chance they would have to stop Demon King Piccolo. But once they defeated his children and got to King Piccolo, it was far too late, as he used the Dragon Balls to wish back for his youth, and then killed Shenron. At that point, it was over for the fighters, as they each would try their best to fight against King Piccolo, and would even try the Mafuba technique and every trick in the book that they had, but no one was strong enough to stop Piccolo. and would all fall to him one after another. King Piccolo would rule over the world with an iron fist. It would take some time, but eventually Bulma and Puar would come to the conclusion that all their friends had perished and would be upset for some time. The only opposing force to King Piccolo would be the Red Ribbon Army, and they would try everything to take him down. A lot of their forces would be taken out by Piccolo until they came down to the scientists of the Red Ribbon Army to make androids to fight against Piccolo. Time would pass and we would jump a few years to see Dr. Gero, as he is currently building the strongest android he can, but he isn't doing it alone, as he is getting help from Bulma. Now Bulma and the group never learned about the Red Ribbon Army, so they would not know that they are a bad group. But even if she did, they were the only hope that the planet would survive. So either way, I would see her joining to help create these androids to save the planet. Now Dr. Gero would have been watching King Piccolo to get as much data as possible to put into this android. The android that they built would look a lot like Android 16, but probably would be called 16. No doubt this android would not be anywhere near the power scaling of the original androids, but he would pose a threat to King Piccolo, as when they would clash against each other, Android 16 was powerful and King Piccolo was confused, not understanding how strong this opponent is. They were close to evenly matched, and King Piccolo would plan to just tire out 16, but soon realized that he was growing tired and Android 16 wasn't breaking a sweat. And at that point, the battle was over, as when Android 16 would tire out King Piccolo, he would kill him and finally bring the world at peace. Eventually, everyone is happy that the world was free from King Piccolo's rule and would work on rebuilding civilization. One day when Bulma was tinkering with Android 16, she is met by Mr. Popo, as he introduces who he is and explains how the planet is not truly fixed until they get another guardian of Earth. He would tell her the entire backstory about Kami and Piccolo, and how Kami was the creator of the Dragon Balls, and how he died when Piccolo died. Mr. Popo would bring Bulma to Kami's spaceship that he used to arrive here, and she would work on it to try to go back to Kami's home planet and possibly see if they have their own Dragon Balls to wish everything back to normal. Bulma would understand and would work on the ship. Mr. Popo did warn her to keep this to herself, as the Red Ribbon Army cannot be trusted. It would take some time with Bulma trying to work on the ship, but after a good few years, I would imagine she would be able to fix up the ship. She and Android 16 would use the ship to travel through space, and after around a month or so, they would make it to Namek. She would have made it to Namek a lot sooner than in canon. I would say that the current age right now would be matching up to around the start of Dragon Ball Z. She would travel around the planet and eventually meet the first city of Namekians. Now she would be a bit freaked out, as this would be her first contact with alien life, but she would ask for their Dragon Balls, as she does need it for a good reason. Namekians show their friendliness, and this shocks Bulma, as she didn't know these people were that friendly. The warrior Namekians would take Bulma and 16 to Grand Elder Guru, where he would read the mind of Bulma and learn about all the events that happened on Earth. He would apologize for all that she had gone through, and would allow her to use the Dragon Balls, and with the help of other Namekians, they would collect all the Dragon Balls quickly. With the 3 wishes, she would wish for Yamcha and Krillin to be brought back to life, and for the Earth to be rebuilt before Piccolo destroyed it all. She would thank the Namekians for their help, and before she left, Guru would give her a Namekian to be the new guardian of her planet, and have their own set of Dragon Balls. Now it wouldn't be Dende, as he would be far too young at this point, but another Namekian who is like a teenager, and we'll call him Bass, to honor the other names of King Piccolo's son. She thanks them for all their help, and would head back to Earth. Once she arrives, she is reunited with Yamcha and Krillin, and is happy to see them once again, as it's been some years since she has seen them. She tells them that they will have their own Dragon Balls again, and they could wish back Gohan and Master Roshi, but they told her the message that they both told them when they realized they were brought back to life, and realized that they decided not to return and to stay in the other world, as their time has come and it was now their time. This saddens Bulma, but she understood why. Yamcha and Krillin then said that they grew so much stronger when it came to training in the other world. They were in the other world for 8 years, so they did a lot of training, fighting against other martial artists, and even trained under King Kai, as they learned the Kaioken, but could only use it to ×2 at max, with their power levels being around 10,000. Bulma is glad to hear this and tells them about the Red Ribbon Army, and that they would need to take them down, as now that the world is back to normal, they would need to stop them before they take over. Yamcha and Krillin understood and easily took out the Red Ribbon Army with no effort. With some reprogramming, even 16 aided them with taking down the army. Finally, after almost a decade, the planet is at peace. Krillin and Yamcha would use the Dragon Balls to age them up back to the respectful age, and continue on training as they became the protectors of the planet. And with some upgrades, 16 would actually join in, as all 3 of them would protect Earth. And the last thing we would see is Yamcha and Bulma getting married. Away, we are back on Namek, as we see a Namekian notice a spaceship landing on their planet. The spaceship opens up as we see 2 Saiyans come out, an aged up Kakarot and Broly. And that's where we're going to leave it off for now. Tell me what I think about the 3rd part and how I did with the Planet Earth arc. What do I think about how Earth came out without Goku? What are the Saiyans doing on Planet Namek? Is it for a good reason or not? What could have happened differently? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. I would love to hear them. If y'all are interested and enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever I post another part. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next part. See ya.